Welcome out to the matchup you've been waiting for all year. It's the Spanish Fork Dons versus the Maple Mountain Golden Eagles. We are at a some sort of stormy, beautiful evening where the rain has let up enough for some quality football for the moment. Right here at Spanish Fork High School, home of the Dons. I'm Mitchell Marshall beside Chris Hurst, and we're excited to bring the game to you here on Spanish Fork 17. Looking for the coin toss right about now. You have some key to the game for us tonight, Chris?
I sure do. Triple T sponsors the keys of the game. Now, one of the keys for both teams will be to put some points on the board. Maple Mountain comes into this game only averaging 8.6 points a game on the season. Spanish Fork averages 22. However, in the first week they put up 46 on Mountain Views, so that might be a little misleading with 5 games into the season. So I think both teams need to just figure out a way to try and get some more points on the board. This is also a rivalry game, so both teams are going to be playing with emotion. So it's going to have to be playing with emotion in the correct way. You don't want silly late personal foul penalties and those type of things. And also, it's raining tonight, so both teams are going to have to endure the elements. And hopefully we don't have any lightning delays or anything like that tonight, Mitch. But it should be a good game tonight, and hope something's got to give.
Absolutely, and we're here waiting to see what happens with the coin toss. But again, like you said, a good rivalry. You see that across the region.
Right.
And it looks like Spanish Fork has deferred. Have not seen the signal yet. And Maple Mountain will start with the ball. They have elected to receive.
That's an interesting call, and maybe you want to get some confidence going on your offense early.
We're very thankful for these sponsors who allow us to be here each and every week. You'll see replays courtesy of the car guys. Also have Dickerson Automotive, the finest repairs with personal care. State Farm, Lance Wilson, Mikkel Christiansen, and Wise Attorneys at Law. Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, who will have the keys to the game from in just a moment. MVP Sports, sporting goods for all seasons. They'll present our MVP of the game. And Two Jacks Pizza, just plain delicious pizza. And throughout the game, you'll hear those sponsors again as they help us bring you some special elements each and every week here on Spanish Fork Channel 17.
And something's got to give tonight. It's been since August 19th since Spanish Fork lost. They come into this game on a 4-game losing streak, but not to be outdone by Maple Mountain, who comes in with a 7-game losing streak, and they have not won since October 14th, 2015. So both teams struggling to win games here in this season, and right now they're out of the playoff picture. Neither one's won a region game, so they're going to have to battle to get into one of those top 4 spots if they want to make the playoffs. And somebody's got to win tonight.
And last week, both teams, played well against really good teams. We, of course, were here with Spanish Fork and Springville, the Region 8 leaders at the moment. And after going down 21-0, they stormed all the way back. We went to overtime at 27-27, and then a late turnover ruined things for the Dons, but a really valiant showing to get back into that one. And then Maple Mountain went against, a 5A power at American Fork and had a lead for much of the game and ended up losing by less than a touchdown. So both of these teams obviously with ability, but right now, like you said, out of the playoff picture in a pretty frustrating spot. But somebody's going to get a win tonight. Someone's going to break that losing streak.
And, sometimes all it takes is that one win, and you can gain momentum. The schedules get easier for both teams. Spanish Fork's already played Salem Hills and Springville, probably the 2 toughest teams in the region. Maybe you could make an argument for Wasatch as being one of the top 2 teams as well, but and Maple Mountain's only region game was against Springville.
Here's the kickoff. They have some traditional music as there's a fake handoff from Maple Mountain. Looking for a sideline, and there's a huge hole. Just one man to beat with the blocker ahead of him. See if he can get caught, and the kicker will make his way through the block and stop him just before midfield. A lot of green there, and Maple Mountain's going to start out with some fantastic field position.
Yeah, James Daw, the kicker that time, coming up with the tackle, and he's made way too many tackles for Spanish Fork there, but great return by Harrison Casper as he finds a seam and takes advantage of it.
Harrison Casper, a name you'll hear throughout the night, a superb athlete for Maple Mountain. This Maple Mountain team lost a lot of seniors last year, but Dennison did get some playing time when Jaron Hall was injured throughout the end of last year. But thus far, not able to get a lot of offensive firepower going. See how they fare against this defense that we've seen be porous, but we've also seen shore those holes up when they need to. Dennison with the turn and quick throw. It's all the way down into double coverage. Butler, who's got some height, and it jumps off of him, and the flag is thrown, but that one is intercepted by Spanish Fork. We'll see what the flag comes down. Looked like right away into double coverage, and something the safeties were not getting over last week. They do a good job of doing it on play number 1 here, but they just go for Butler with that height.
Yeah, Zach Buist gets the tip that time, an interception, but unfortunately, I think the corner that time, Colt Condi, ran into Butler on that play.
And it will be a pass interference call, which is a little rough because in double coverage, even if it doesn't bounce off of him and he still almost caught it, you really have the opportunity to make nothing happen. And while you want the turnover, it ends up being 15 yards forward for the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, and that's a huge turn of events if you're Maple Mountain fan, as they'll get the ball inside Spanish Fork's territory at the 38, and you went from an interception to now you're in striking distance.
We'll see how they adjust, and the field looks good and everything seems pretty dry. I'm sure they're a little bit chilly, so we'll see if things get better as they warm up, but both teams seem ready to go. Dennison from the shotgun, quick handoff. Navigates a little bit, but nowhere to go in the end, and that's Casper.
They met that time by Harmon. And the only Maple Mountain game I've been at this season was against North St. Pete, and they struggled to run the ball, but you need balance in football. So if you're Maple Mountain, you might be a little frustrated by the running attack this season, but you can't just go and throw the ball every play.
If you're getting, they got negative yards there, but 1 to 2 yard runs eventually do some good. You either wear them down or you open up a pass play. Dennison step, and it's a quick out, and that time looked like stone hands on the fullback. That's Blanthorne, who is a defensive power, but also leads the way for Casper oftentimes, and right there on the outlet pass, nothing doing.
Yeah, Maple Mountain goes to Blathorn when they need that, 1 to 2 yards on 3rd or 4th down, and then in goal line situations, and he's pretty reliable. But that time he forgot the basic order of events, and that is catch and then run. I've done it as well. Who hasn't?
I do it every time. It's like remembering to breathe when you eat. Sometimes it's just not the order of events. Blanthorne in the backfield with Dennison once again, and flags fly before anything got going. False start. We'll move back 5 yards and try 3rd and 16. So with a 15-yard penalty and good field position to start, Golden Eagles in a tough spot already.
Yeah, we've only had 4 or 5 plays if you count the kickoff so far and 2 penalties so far. It could be a long night here if these teams keep this up.
Already seen 2 flags. Dennison drops back. He sees a lot of open green, and he's going to run for it. Linebackers in the drop spot find him. Eventually able to pull him down 4 or 5 yards short. Ball comes loose, but I believe he was down before that happened, so it'll be 4th and 5. They're kind of in that in-between area. Not field goal worthy, but maybe worth going for it. As you see the replay one more time, Dennison able to pull it down, and he sees that he's going to have some space. He almost gets that extra block, but plenty of backers in the right where they needed to be on that play for Spanish Fork.
Yeah, good job by Landon Jensen, not only making the tackle but making sure he's going nowhere. And Maple Mountain's playing the field position game here as they elect to punt.
Casper back to punt. It's always nice when you have your running back there. Could always be a fake. This one looks like it is going to line up for a punt, though. And they do a little bit shift into some 3-yard separation. Snap fumbled, still enough time for Casper to get it off. Doesn't need too long of a punt. This one lands among his players and will be a touchback. It's too bad a Golden Eagle couldn't spot that one and nail it down, but a good punt and a good focus to get it down after the initial snap was bobbled.
Well, and you got to question, why did you punt in that situation? Because you only netted 14 yards. Why not take a shot when you're down on the 34? Because you always run the risk of the ball going into the end zone like it did that time. So, decent field position here for Spanish Fort. The defense holds up after that long kickoff return and penalty.
Absolutely picking up where they left off against Springville, a high-powered team that they were able to limit after a dangerous first quarter where a couple of big plays really burnt them.
Yeah, and then after that they were able to calm down, and the comeback was on, but just fell a little bit short.
Talked to a lot of people who may not pay attention to Region 8 a lot, but a lot of them heard about that double pass and what went down at the game last week.
That was a great play by Conway that time. He had a heck of a game last week.
He did 3 extra point passes. This one is Lomax straight forward, and he gets swallowed up after a gain of about a yard.
And you could make the argument that Spanish Fort could be 2-0 in region, but they've had a couple of late penalties that have cost them the game. So that's one thing they need to do, is hold on to that ball, especially in that fourth quarter when the game's on the line or in overtime.
Really back-to-back heartbreakers. You had their own homecoming game against Salem Hills where a last-second turnover and penalty doomed them. And then, of course, last week at Springville, they really could have snatched one away and played spoiler. Here's a quick jet sweep. Saili finds the corner, and he just gets pulled down by the shoulder pad after a gain of about 10 or 11 yards.
A great end around that time by Saili on the jet sweep, and he's brought down by Connor McKell, but he looked like he might go all the way, but McKell just got that right paw his on that shoulder pad and dragged him to the ground.
McKell, a two-way player who you may hear get the ball in his hands, but also plays a big role on defense. Campbell straight ahead to Lomax once again. And I wanted to say 2 yards, and it ends up being about 7. Just rumbles and stumbles, keeps those legs churning, and it turns into a superb first down.
Now, Lomax likes to stay low, keep those legs churning, and we've seen a lot of yards after contact for him as he's got that low center of gravity.
Second and 3, and it looks like in the backfield it was straight ahead, Wildcat up the A-gap, gain for another 7 yards, but that was Conway, not Chappell, taking the snap.
And Conway, he is a threat to throw the ball. We saw that last week. He threw 3 passes, if you count the extra point attempts, and completed all 3 of them.
And then he also ran one in, so he's doing it on all accounts. You can't see him coming to the game and think it's going to be a Wildcat because we know he can throw. That time a guard pulled and moved that other linebacker aside. He found a big gap. Right now, Dons are moving. Lomax spins and turns his way for a gain of about 2.5.
And one of the things that if Spanish Fort can get a couple scores on Maple Mountain early, it's going to be tough for Maple Mountain to come back. So if you're Maple Mountain here, you have got to get as many stops as possible because, like we mentioned, they're only averaging 8.5 points a game. But their defense isn't giving up too many either.
Yeah, not built to come back, so see if you can limit whatever you can. I mean, it's still at the 50-yard line. That's exactly where Maple Mountain got the ball for their own offense earlier. Hand off to Lomax once again. He's finding that off-tackle space that he loved against Springville. He gets swallowed up, gets another 4 yards or so, so a couple of decent runs back-to-back for Lomax, and it's going to be 3rd and 3.
And you're in that 4-down territory almost. Well, you're on your own Maple Mountain's 44, so might want to punt if you don't get it here, but might be one of those times where you take a chance downfield.
And trust that defense that's been playing so well. Do you want shotgun up or down?
Conway keeps it again on the Wildcat and picks up half of what they need.
Close enough here, but it looks like the punt unit is going to come on in a 0-0 game early on. Don't take chances. Also, weather factor. Things are going to be a little bit wet out there, although it's not pouring. And, of course, yesterday across the Wasatch Front, you had tornadoes touching down and torrential downpour.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was a lot of flooding around the state.
That as well, so that could come back. For now, we've been blessed with some dryness. Here's the punt from Stanton. A lot of air under it. It's headed out of bounds. We'll see. Stayed in a little bit longer than I thought it would. See where they eventually mark it. And they'll get it where it landed, actually. Call it the 25.
So that's an 18-yard punt. Maple Mountain had a punt that netted 14, so punting game not so hot so far tonight.
It has not been a battle of the boots as of yet, but some really quick math, Chris. I'm pretty impressed. Getting those net punt yards.
As long as it's under 20, I can do the math.
There you go.
Anything above 20, I need a calculator.
Well, we may not have to be too concerned with that.
And Maple Mountain was able to pick up a couple first downs on that last drive. We'll see if they can build on that. But I think the key for them is at some point they need to establish a run game this season.
Absolutely. You may continue to try and hammer Blanthorne and Casper in there, open something up, because, again, they do have some talented receivers. Remember, Butler and AC both had good seasons last year. Just Blanthorne in the backfield, and it will be a straight-ahead run to him. There was a hole, but quickly closed by some Dons, but a nice initial pickup. Again, just getting that run game going doesn't mean a big run. A 6-yard run is absolutely efficient. Now you have second and short where you can open up the playbook a little bit.
Yeah, I think they'll take 6 yards on first down all night long. So great run that time by Blathorn. And, you know, what opens that up is they go 4 wide that time, and Spanish Forecast respect it in their nickel package.
Four wide once again, 3 out left to the wide side, and it looks like it's going to be another Blanthorne straight ahead, and he just trucks his way. Doesn't even look like he's looking for open space, but it's another 8 yards, 7 yards, and a first down for the Golden Eagles. And if I'm them, I run that play until it gets stopped. You can see right here, plenty of space. He's able to get off that edge.
That looked like a trap play once again, that time to the left side. On first down, they went to the right side, similar blocking scheme.
So Bueller and Durant to the right. Looks like AC and Shaw out to the left. Blanthorne again the lone back, so not seeing Casper back there much. He may actually be out wide. And that was him off his hands, and that one rolls out of bounds.
Yeah, we've seen, on the couple of pass attempts tonight, we've seen a lot of balls being bounced up into the air for Maple Mountain, and that's dangerous. That has INT written all over it. We saw one earlier that was negated by a penalty.
And these have been pretty easy throws for Denison, just a step and toss to a predetermined receiver, other than the first long throw into double coverage for Butler. Straight ahead one more time. Again, run that until they can stop it. This one goes for another 5 yards. Maple Mountain having a good drive. Give your defense some rest and keep pounding away. We're already down to 4 minutes, 20 seconds to go in the first quarter. It's 3rd and 4 now. I'd be tempted to run it. Let's see if the Dons commit more guys to the box.
Looks like they're still just going to have the 6 guys in the box. They did blitz Saili on first down.
And they're going to go with it straight ahead. Haven't been able to stop it. Initial contact comes before the first down, but Blanthorne just drags them. And that's going to be a first down by about a half a yard. And they are now in, just barely, into Don territory.
And that's exactly what I think Maple Mountain needs to establish is a run game. That'll open up some play-action pass later on, and if you're Spanish Fork, you might want to consider bringing a 7th guy to the boxes. Right now they just have the 4 down linemen and the 2 linebackers, but they are spreading the field 4 wide, so that would require maybe a cover 1 or cover 0.
The threat doesn't look to be through the air yet, though, so maybe commit that extra linebacker. Saley's up on Casper, who swings out, and they're just going to pound it forward once again. And again, just moving through the crowd. That time, half the yards picked up going sideways, and it's a 3.5-yard gain on first down.
Yeah, he contorted his body just enough to get those extra couple of yards that time. Very impressive running by Blathorn on this series. I think that was Zach Maurer.
I did. I was trying to double check that is 44, not 43. A little have to double check on that, and it is Maurer back there. Again, your two guys who you think are threats from the pass rush. Right now, your threat on the rush, and this is going to be a quarterback sneak, and he's not going to get back to the line of scrimmage, and the ball does get out. Looks like before he was free. And the refs are signaling that it is Spanish Fork Don's ball. So you take it away from the from the big men. And Dennison lets this one loose on the quarterback sneak, maybe trying to throw him off and use that speed to get outside. Linebackers were coming, and that one just gets torn out of his hands. And after a couple of nice, methodical first downs, the ball comes loose. Turnovers doom them. And now, at the 46-yard line, Spanish Fork will take over.
I think that was Landon Jensen that stripped the ball away that time for Spanish Fork, and they're able to recover.
So Spanish Fork with possession. Let's see if they go with a Wildcat run, and it will be a pass. Wide open is Stanton. He gets the ball, able to move outside. He's going to be close to a first down. So that time, mixing things up a little bit.
You know, one thing we need to mention about Noah Conway is he's a sophomore.
Wow.
So he's going to be a weapon for the next 2 years for the Dons, including the rest of this season.
Absolutely. Conway, not huge, but showing that he can be efficient. He's in the backfield all by himself once again, 5 wide. See if Maple Mountain is willing to bring a blitz. Maurer on the right end, Blanthorn on the left. And it looks like it may have been a designed run, but Conway eventually navigates about for a yard gain and found his way through some white jerseys. Looked like coverage was all right, but didn't look to pass too much, but also didn't look like a designed run.
It wasn't a designed run because the offensive line wasn't getting downfield. It looked like they were more in a pass protection that time, and I think Conway looked at his first receiver, thought, oh, well, I can run it, and, well, he did get a yard.
He'll take it. Positive yard. It's 2nd and 9. Chapel now in the backfield with Lomax, so Maple Mountain's going to have to keep an eye on that all night. Chapel outside to Stanton, who's looking for his second catch of the day. That one bounced off the turf and into his arms. 3rd and 9 for the Dons.
Well, they called it a catch.
Oh, they did. It looked like it bounced, and it looked like the defense in Stanton may have even thought it bounced. But it's complete.
Yeah, it was a little low, but, you know, with these weather conditions, it's going to be very difficult for both teams to throw the ball. Sometimes your hand slips off a wet pigskin, and as a result, ends up coming out funny.
So Chapel in the backfield now, 3rd and 5 for Spanish Fork. They'll drop to pass Saili with one-on-one coverage. See if he grabbed that one on the sideline. Should be short regardless, and it is complete. It'll be 4th and 3. See if they go for it. The offense looks like they're staying on the field.
Well, it's one of those situations where if you kick it in the end zone, you'll only net 16 yards here.
Neither teams look like they're a threat to really place a punt somewhere efficient over 20 yards right now. Now you have Conway and Chapel in the backfield.
Maple Mountain's going to be bringing some pressure, or showing that they are.
They will bring... Oh, and all alone is Connie. He's got space in the middle of the field. He's not able to juke a defender, but a first down on 4th and 3. It's a gain of about 14 yards.
Yeah, great read by Carson. He looks at his running back, and Connie's wide open in the middle of the field, and does a great job of finding him on that pass play. And Spanish Fork's in business near the 20-yard line.
Just about the 24, so we're almost seeing our first real red zone offensive action. Here's Chapel with the snap. Handoff goes inside. Not for much, though. May have actually been a loss on the play.
A great job by Stetson Schumann coming up and making that shoestring tackle that time, and we're at the end of the first quarter.
That went by pretty quick. Both teams showing some good things, some bad things. Everybody trying to get warm, get efficient. We'll be back with the second quarter right here on Spanish Fork 17.
Hi, welcome to Two Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork. Or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Lance Wilson for your insurance and financial needs.
Welcome back to Spanish Fork, Channel 17. It's a battle of across-town rivals. Maple Mountain Golden Eagles and Spanish Fork Dons scoreless so far as we head into the second quarter. I'm Mitchell Marshall here with Chris Hurst, and we have had a little window. It still looks threatening out there, but we have a window of opportunity with the weather right now, and teams both look like they're coming out ready to play, both frustrated with their season so far. We'll see who can pull some momentum out of winning a big game tonight.
A little disappointed that we don't have more fans here. It is raining a little bit, but the weather has cleared up for the most part. So
I expected everyone in town to be here. Weather can scare you away, especially when you can be at home in your comfortable couch watching and hearing my beautiful voice. That was only half sarcastic. Here's Chappell. He pulls on the play action, and that one is over the head of the intended receiver. That was a designed play. It looks like he was open for a moment, but not a lot of space.
There was a very small window to throw that ball into Tyler Christensen that time, and I wonder if Chappell saw that and just threw it over everybody's heads to live for third down. Because, you know, once you get inside the red zone especially, but down near your opponent's territory, they teach these quarterbacks to not take any chances unless the game's on the line.
And I'd call this four-down territory in high school football, unless you have a kicker who you really think can put one out from over that 30, 40-yard mark, which Maple Mountain had last year, but I don't know if either team has the ability this year. Here's Chappell. Lomax in the backfield. He stands in to block. There's the pass outside, believed to Saili, and it is incomplete regardless.
So it brings up 4th and 11 here. I'm assuming they'll have to throw the ball here. I don't see him even looking to bring James Daw in. So, and this is one of those times if Maple Mountain wants, they can bring a little bit of pressure, bring some heat on Chappell, and see if they can't make him rush things. Although last time they brought pressure, he was able to find Condi wide open in the middle of that field.
And that was a very heads-up play. We haven't seen a big play. Maybe they will be fearful of pressure now, and it looks like just 4 coming. This is put up kind of for grabs, seeing if you can find Condi on the fly route. Chappell gets hit before that one gets released, and the ball will change hands with all right field position for the Golden Eagles, but I think that's what you do. You try and get one-on-one coverage and put him in position to catch it, but there wasn't really much there. But note to be said, I mean, Maple Mountain has 2 very good pass rushers, so bringing 4 can be effective. And I think when they brought 6, they thought it's kind of a do-or-die moment. And when Spanish Fork capitalized, now they have to be cautious with that blitz.
Well, and from the end, you've got Maurer and Blathorn, so they got to Chappell without very much resistance from the left tackle that time.
Be interesting to see if they try and run some stunts soon to find them some extra room on the inside and get there maybe even untouched. Quick handoff, but parallel running right now, and it'll be a minimal gain as couldn't quite get forward. Landon Jensen on the carry, on the tackle.
Casper with the carry. Saw a little bit of a hold, not called that time, right there on your Car Guys instant replay.
And if you're a coach, you got to get in the ref's ear, because anytime there's a stretch play like that in high school, there's a pretty good possibility that there was a hold somewhere along the way. And you guys just got to let them know, hey, look for it. And eventually that does help. I know refs hate it, and you kind of hate hearing it when it's about your team, but might be effective if they continue to run outside. Trips right, that's where quarterback looks, and a big slip up from the receiver and nowhere to go.
Yeah, and I noticed Gavin Campbell that time with a very impressive swim. Defensive end, he used a great swim technique to get to the quarterback that time and apply a little pressure. And both offenses have, they've been able to pick up a couple first downs here and there, but for the most part haven't threatened the end zone at all tonight.
That last drive by Spanish Fork, as close as we've seen, maybe not the best drive, but as close as we've seen anyone get to the red zone.
I think the rain's starting again. I see umbrellas.
There's Dennison on the fly route, and his receiver gets crushed. And that is Casper, who couldn't hold on to the ball. Surrounded by Dons, he had the opportunity, and if you go by the rule it touches his hands, he should have caught it. Well, then he should have caught it, but then he gets blasted. He can take it. He's back up and running.
Right. Great hit that time by Trey Lawson. He went for the knockout punch. Had he went just for the interception that time, I think he would have got it, but he was going for the knockout punch, and it worked.
I have one regret. I came untouched in high school one time, and I could have intercepted a toss, a pitch, and run it for a touchdown easily, but I just wanted to hit the guy, and I did, but I regret not getting the 7 points.
We'll just assume you would have dropped it, Mitch.
Thanks. Hands of stone. That's why I played defense. Oh, and this is, I don't know if it's a fake, but he gets bobbled again, and he finally does on the very end find space to kick it. Best punt we've seen so far tonight. It's caught, and a heads-up play by the coverage team to push him out of bounds. That's at about the 42-yard line. But, man, that was a botched play. No space on the end, and eventually not a horrible punt.
Now, I'm not exactly sure the rule here, but if he doesn't kick it in a timely manner, aren't some of these linemen legal...
Yeah.
Lineman downfield. Plus, looked like there was a late hit on that punt.
That contact at the end at least gets called running into the kicker if this is college.
A lot of things going on that play that were not called, but
let the boys play.
We're letting them play tonight here in Spanish Fork.
Good field position. We've said that a lot, and it has come to nothing thus far. We'll see if anything else. Lomax charging his way through for a couple of yards. That was Chappell in the backfield.
Yeah, great job by Maple Mountain's defense on that running play as they limit Lomax that time. We saw him break a couple of tackles and get a 7 or 8 yard run, but for the most part, they haven't been able to get to that second level in the running game tonight for Spanish Fork.
Conway all by himself in the backfield. He's got 5 wide. Saili now going to move back, and it'll be another jet sweep to Saili. He finds the edge, but no real space on the short side of the field, and that goes for nothing. Maybe a 7-inch gain, if we're being scientifically accurate.
Well, once again, Maple Mountain steps up and stuffs the run. It could be one of these games where we go into overtime and the score's 0-0. I sure hope not, but
it hasn't been ugly, but it sure hasn't been pretty. 3rd and long. Chappell in the backfield with Lomax. 4 wide. No initial signs of pressure from Maple Mountain. They'll rush 4. And they're going for one-on-one coverage to stay on the outside. He's going to catch the ball for 30 and find his way after the tackle all the way down to the 21-yard line. And that is exactly what you wanted. They found the one-on-one safety a little late, and it just falls into the right pocket for Stanton. And again, Maple Mountain threatening the red zone. Or, I'm sorry, Spanish Fork.
Yeah, great 37-yard pass that time. They just run that little fade. They like to run that fade several times to take a chance. And if you only complete 30% of those fades, you're still in good shape as long as you're not turning the ball over.
Absolutely. The fake pitch outside, back into Lomax. He's got tons of room, and a slip from the defensive back, and he charges his way into the end zone. We've got points on the board. Spanish Fork strikes first in the rivalry game. It's 6-0 Dons. Extra point pending. But that time, see the fake toss outside to Conway, and you've got to honor it. And then tons of room. The tackle seals the block. He dodges Casper, I believe, the one man he needed to beat, slips.
Yeah, great play call that time. A lot of misdirection, and it really confused Maple Mountain. We got the swinging gate here again.
going for two, just like last week they did every play. Conway in the backfield for it, goes straight up the middle, and he's not going to get there. Fantastic tackle in the open field, and that is by Casper, who got juked/slipped in this very wet weather as the rain comes down last play. Doesn't let it happen again and takes him down by the ankle, and the lead 6-0.
And Spanish Fork looks like they're going to be aggressive again tonight with their conversions, as they went for two that time. Last week they were 3 for 3, and that really paid off as it allowed them to have one less touchdown yet get back in that ball game.
And Maple Mountain, I think if they had to be prepared for that. Thanks. We got to see that replay of fantastic tackle. Thanks to the car guys. Also, your thanks to Dickerson Automotive, State Farm, Lance Wilson, Mikkel Christiansen Wise, attorneys at law, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, and 2 Jacks Pizza. But yeah, if there's one thing you practice for in that little bit of time you give to special teams, other than being sure on your assignments, it's knowing, hey, last week they went for 2-3 times. It's something we've got to be prepared for.
And they did a great job of numbering off and making sure they had a helmet on a helmet that time, and I think that made a huge difference.
And this one is a pooch outside, and it looks like it's going to be recovered just at the 21. It's smothered. And that one looked like it might have even stayed in bounds. We saw that last week, and Daw put it out, which of course is a flag, and brings the ball up to the 35. So a good spot that time. No chance for a return.
Well, I got to say, Spanish Fork's return coverage this season has been less than acceptable. So they've had to come up with different ways to try and negate that special teams. And every time I see a special teams play at the high school level, it's like anything can happen, and my heart skips a beat sometimes.
Blandthorne in the backfield. Last time Maple Mountain had the ball before a fumble from Denison. They were very efficient with that run game, getting big chunks from their big men. Plenty of room for Denison to get all the way outside. He's going to tuck and run. He's got 3-4. See where he stepped out of bounds in just a moment. But a pretty good gain, stretching his way across the field as the rain continues to fall.
And Maple Mountain's had a lot of success running the ball. This time I think it was a pass play, and Denison made something out of nothing that time. But I wonder if we'll see them going back to try and running up the middle with Maurer and with Blathorn.
That one ends up just be about 3.5 yards, but good positive yards after a nice coverage play from the Dons. And yeah, maybe, they never stopped it, so I'd say keep running it, but they'll take a moment and know that that's something they can go back to. Runner comes free, and it looks like it's a little screen. Butler's got it, and he gets taken down, but it is a first down, a gain of about 12 yards for Maple Mountain. So the first time they've dialed up a pass and been able to find some success.
Yeah, wide receiver center screen that time as they throw it to Butler. But the timing on that play had to be perfect. If it would have been off just a couple of seconds there, Maple Mountain would have been able to stop that. But great job by the offensive line setting that play up perfectly.
You got 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line for the Golden Eagles, trying to strike back, and now an extra point gives them the lead. Inside handoff to Blanthorne, who slips and fumbles the ball, able to get back on it, and it'll be a loss of 2. So the weather becoming a factor once again. Saw some lightning out in the distance, and that was quite a while ago. Haven't seen anything closer, so we may be good to play. Football was made to play in all elements. And if you're in Utah, you got to be ready for worse than rain like this. So we'll continue to go, but we're going to see it affect the game.
Well, and this is our first bad weather Friday night of the season, and it's, we probably will have cold weather if nothing else from here on out. But we'll be interesting to see how both teams react to this type of weather.
Denison, he's going to look, he's going to throw the fade, hoping his tall receiver can just find it. That one gets a little bit lost. That was quite the sky ball, and Butler can't find it. Incomplete. Second, or now that was second, so it should be 3rd and 11 for the Golden Eagles.
And Colt Conde probably gives up about 9 inches in that situation, and did a great job of being in the right position.
Butler was successful a couple of twin towers last year for Maple Mountain. He was one of those. Also in basketball, plays very well. He was the player of the game, one of the games I did, and shoots the 3 pretty well for a tall guy.
Yeah, a lot of these kids are multi-star athletes. A lot of them play baseball as well. The Spanish Fork and Maple Mountain are well known for their baseball teams.
Absolutely. Runners come free. They go for another screen. It works first time, and this one may have been intercepted. I thought I saw it hit the ground, and that is what the refs will call. They are waving it off. But they figured one screen works. Let's try it again. That one they will elect hit the turf, and it'll be 4th down in a punting situation for the Golden Eagles. Check this out one more time on the car, guys. Instant replay, just falling back, and it is over the head of Blanthorne, who is surrounded by Dons.
Yeah. Now, as an offensive lineman, you got to touch them a little bit before you let them go through. They just let everybody go untouched, and I think that disrupted the timing. As the Spanish Fork defensive linemen were on Denison very quick.
2 returners back for Spanish Fork, as again Maple Mountain starts in the tight formation, moves to more of a spread front, but not much of a rush coming. And this one gets away not long once again. Gets a little bit lost for everyone, including me, because that one ended up on the track.
Well, it's very difficult to see the ball because it's raining. We got the lights reflecting on it. I lost it completely myself when it was up in the sky, and that could be an issue if you're a guy returning a punt. So you got to tell him to get away from the ball if you lose contact of it, because once it hits the ground, who knows what way it's going to bounce.
You don't want to be that guy who has the ball bounce off of his shoulder pad and gives it to the other team. Chappell in the backfield, Lomax. Stanton out wide right. He's got one-on-one coverage with Butler. Inside handoff to Lomax. He gets wrapped up before he can get out of the backfield. He will get back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe get a half a yard credit on that one. It'll be 2nd down. As now Spanish Fork looking to extend their lead before halftime. Still have 7 minutes left, but again, both teams kind of been chewing through this clock.
Yeah, both teams have been content to run the ball a lot. The clock's been moving, and then both of these teams huddle up. So you don't have a lot of those incomplete passes, and then 3 and out, we punt. We took off 20 seconds of the game time.
Which is kind of nice, but interesting because they run the spread, and a lot of times the spread is something you want to give a little bit more of a hurry up to. Conway in the back by himself. He again sprints out. Sees a man open in the middle. It's Saili, and he will grab it. It's going to be a gain of about 15 yards, and a flag is thrown as well.
Saili was interfered with that time, but I'm not sure that's what the penalty is the Maple Mountain defender got there early.
Maple Mountain's clapping. It looks like he'll go against Spanish Fork.
Might be an ineligible receiver downfield.
It will.
Yeah, I saw on the replay, Spanish Fork had linemen beyond that. Is it 2 yards or 3 yards?
3. I'm not positive in high school, but
we'll call it 2.5.
I know it's 3 at the higher levels, and which is hard because if you win your blocking situation and you come up on a throwing play, sometimes you go that far without really thinking too much about it. But that time, clear call. Chappell once again, so one of their better pass plays of the night is negated. He'll drop back once again, and this is a fly ball. It's going to be up in the air just behind Saili, who's able to turn in on his corner and grab it. Great play, I believe, in front of Casper. But that one, the ball was short, but he was able to see it and just turn his body in. Doesn't make too much contact to get a call, and the ball falls before the corner can turn back in and challenge it.
I think that ball might have slipped out of Chappell's hand that time, or they threw the perfect duck comeback route on the fade that time.
That was Peyton Pond, another talented player playing corner, but I want to just make sure I don't give negative credit to Casper. That was not him playing defense. Inside handoff to Lomax. He goes right between his guard and his center and plows his way for 3.5 yards.
And Lomax has our lone touchdown on that great 22-yard run. That was a super play call with that fake pitch and then the misdirection the other way to Lomax.
He's been the workhorse all season long, and he'll pound away, but when he finds space, not easy to bring down. Second down, Chappell and Lomax once again, 3 out wide, and the tackle on the left side for Spanish Fork clearly jumps off, and we'll go back a few yards and make this 2nd and 11.
And the guy that jumped off is just a sophomore, so some of these youngsters on the Spanish Fork line, and sometimes you just get a little bit excited and you jump. I didn't say his name on purpose because I don't think I can pronounce it.
That is to his advantage. Nobody watching at home knows that he made a mistake everybody makes. Here's Chappell. Turns, quick throw, out to Conway, who's doing it all. He finds some space, moves inside, and he'll keep on rocking, gets an extra yard, diving forward for the first down and a little bit extra. Throwing, running, catching the ball. Conway does it all.
Yeah, great job. A simple little swing pass that time, but once Conway gets ahead of steam, he's very difficult to bring down.
And if there's not a linebacker who initially swings out with that back, it can be very dangerous unless a corner can come in and make a play. First time we've seen that swing pass, which both teams have tried, find some success, but it's a first down. And again, Don's driving. Conway in the backfield by himself, 5 wide. Saili, what we've seen be a jet sweep, it'll be Conway straight forward. Now he looks for the edge with no space, and a good job by Golden Eagles of swarming and then setting the edge, nowhere to go, and it's a loss of 1 for Conway.
A great block by Wee Stanton out there on the end as he gets a pancake, but the problem was you can't pancake 3 guys.
You can't. That's a nice stack of pancakes if you can do it, but usually that's reserved for IHOP. 4:40 and counting. 6-0 Dons, who would love to get a 2-score advantage as we head into the halftime break, where these guys, I'm sure, are looking forward to warming up a little bit.
Yeah, making some halftime adjustments, and one of them might be throwing on another layer of clothes.
Yeah, I got some extra Under Armour in the locker. Now's the time to bring it out. Here's Chappell, and he's going to launch this one deep, and it is going to be up for grabs, and luckily it falls to the ground. That really should have been intercepted, as you put it up there, and you got a receiver all alone, and the defender stepped in front, couldn't quite haul it in.
I think that was Carter Shaw from his safety position that came over. Nearly had the interception, but you can't leave the ball hanging, especially when you're throwing deep into double coverage when that safety can sneak over. Gives him plenty of time to come over, and Chappell's been putting a lot of air under his balls tonight and trying to let his receivers run under it, which is great in one-on-one coverage, but sometimes allows the safety to get over.
You know, I think that's what he's being told to do. They're not really asking for that fly with any accuracy, but when the safety does get over, it's very dangerous. Chappell with a quick throw outside to Stanton, who looks like he's able to scoop this one up for about a 6-yard gain. And now the initial call is being waved off, and they're saying it hit the ground. We've seen a few of these now. Stanton's been involved in at least 3 of them. He's gotten the call on 1.
It looks like they're going to go for it here.
From the 30-yard line, it'll be 4th and a little over 11 yards. Oh, I'm sorry. Remember that first did about 12 yards.
And they have to get it inside the 18. It might be one of those times where they ask their 2 big wide receivers to run a hitch right to the line, but they got to hurry. There's only 9 seconds on the play clock here.
Now we get a whistle and a timeout from Spanish Fork. They want to dial up the correct 4th down play with 4 minutes to go here. They had Chappell and Conway in the backfield, so a lot of different things they can do out of that.
Yeah, you might as well call the timeout if you're Spanish Fork here and have Coach Condi draw up the right play on this play, because it's huge. There's only 4 minutes, and you can't take those timeouts into the half with you.
Let's take a moment and thank our sponsors. Well, we've got the timeout going. The Car Guys bringing you each and every great replay. Dickerson Automotive, the finest repairs with personal care. State Farm, Lance Wilson, Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, and 2 Jacks Pizza. Keep an eye out for the MVP Sports MVP of the game. See who makes the difference tonight. Also, Dickerson Automotive will sponsor the drive of the game, and we've seen you look and see which offense can take it down the field. And of course, any great defensive play is courtesy of McKell, Chris Jansen, and Wise Attorneys at Law, because the best offense is a great defense.
Great defensive play
I was close.
They'll get more attention that way since we butchered it.
Either way, they're great. Football's great. Split back. Chappell looks like he's going to take the snap. He will. Looks like they're looking for the one-on-one to Stanton, who did exactly what you said, turn at the sticks. And that one, instead of in, and maybe he saw the double coverage, instead of going into him, that was definitely high, which I don't think is generally going to be the intention of a receiver right there. So with exactly 4 minutes to go, Maple Mountain's going to get a chance to strike back.
Right, and there were 3 Maple Mountain defenders right in that area. That probably would have been picked, and it might have went the other direction. So I think that they called the play that I had mentioned, and it was very successful last week against Greenville, but there was nothing there, and might as well throw it away and see if Maple Mountain can drive it.
Absolutely. Make them drive a long field. They've had some movement, but haven't really threatened yet. Put your defense back to work. They've had a nice rest. Quick outlet throw. Looked for a second like he was going to stop and pass himself. Eventually gets to the edge for a gain of, looks like he'll get a full 5 out of it.
That's Connor McKell with the catch and run that time, and plenty of time here, only 3:40 to go, but neither team has shown any sense of urgency on the offense by any stretch of the imagination.
I think as long as it's close and they see the struggle going back and forth, waiting for the right time and hoping for a big play, which that's how we've seen the first score, over 20 yards. And Maple Mountain's attempted to try and get a little bit of a bigger play, especially with tosses out to Butler, and he's got one-on-one coverage with Condi out wide. Inside handoff to Blanthorne, who trucks his way down for another 4 yards.
I swear that's the same play call Spanish Fork did on their 22-yard touchdown pass. Maple Mountain takes a page out of Spanish Fork's book and picks up a handful of yards that time.
He doesn't do the full arm swing faking the pitch, but it is kind of that running back looking like he's going to run the outside, and you switch back in, kind of trap him, and they put themselves in a nice 3rd and short situation. As you see a little more box-heavy pressure from the Dons, I'd be surprised if this isn't Blanthorne up the middle. It will be. He trucks his way forward right to the line, but where his knee came down, where the ball was, he will be a half a yard short.
And the way Maple Mountain's been playing and the way their defense has been playing, I would be shocked if they go for it here, but they are keeping the offense on the field.
I think they feel pretty confident in those big guys going forward. I would love to see them try and surprise us, but it's just too dangerous in the current weather. And they'll call a timeout to decide whether they're going to go for it. And if they are going to go for it, try and drop the perfect play. But I'd be hard-pressed to believe that Blanthorne can't get that half of a yard.
Well, either that or you could throw Maurer in there. It looks like it's, half a yard to 1 yard to go there. But, yeah, I would expect them to run the ball up the middle. And Spanish Fork, if I were them, I would run blitz on this play and see if you can't stunt their momentum before they're going.
Dare them to throw. Get your field position back. And I tell you, being a bench player, being a sophomore who knows he's not going to get into the rotation, it's a pretty miserable game right now, I'm sure, just standing on the sidelines and shaking. I was in that position. And
a lot of cold kids on the sideways.
Yeah.
We're sending warm love to them right now.
That's the worst part about baseball. If you play outfield, you're just stuck out there even if you're in the action. It's just cold. Power I formation, straight forward to Blanthorne in the fullback position, and he gets a yard and a half. It'll be a first down. So they put another back behind him just to make it look like he made lead for it, and he pounds his way. He's been the workhorse and been in on pretty much every defensive play as well. See if Maurer spells him sometime soon. It won't be this play as Maurer goes off the field. But great work there by the offensive line, also making sure they get the push and there's no excessive penetration.
Well, and that's huge because if Maple Mountain doesn't pick that up, Spanish Fork has the ball in great field position.
But now the clock is ticking on Maple Mountain. They have 2 timeouts. This is going to be a deep throw. Turn, and it's, tumbling right out of the hands. Difficult play, but definitely an opportunity to catch the ball there. Maple Mountain almost with a big play of their own.
Yeah, Oberhansley that time just could not find the grip on it, and probably part of it has to do with his gloves are wet and the ball is wet.
Yeah, just kind of in front of us, you could just see it tumble off of his fingertips, and a difficult catch in the first place, but it was right there for him. But on first down, good idea to take a shot. Clock stops.
I know it doesn't look like it's raining at home, but it has steadily been raining this entire quarter. Oh, I guess it does look like it's raining. I need to get my eyes checked.
Depends what angle you're looking at it. Dennison, a long ball once again. His receiver saw it early. Bueller finds it. He comes down with it. Almost pulls away from the defender. We've seen that a couple times. Again, these balls not being caught on the run, but that time Bueller uses his size and strength to move inside and grab a big pickup for the Golden Eagles.
And Lundquist must have been to a few rodeos because he's able to hang on that time and make the tackle.
He just keeps kind of grabbing at him, spinning at him. Bueller steps out of bounds. And I know they've wanted to use that height advantage, but haven't been able to make that work until now.
And Bueller's going to win that every time. His Spanish Fork's secondary just can't match that height.
And that time, a really heads-up play. I'll talk about it in just a second. Bueller gets the ball, still looking for space. He's able to get outside through a lot of traffic. See where he ends up, a very minimal gain. Looks like they'll give him about half a yard. But that time, as Dennison backtracked, the line realizes in the middle of this play that it's another screen, and they stop short, come back, and you have a lot more pressure on Bueller when he comes back inside for that one because those linemen decided not to continue to pursue Dennison.
Yeah, great play for no gain.
2nd and 10. Here's and that was one of the best thrown balls we've seen tonight, and Casper right off of his hand streaking down the middle, found space along the inside, and a nice seam throw from Dennison, but just can't get it. Just gloves a little too slick. You can see Casper takes his gloves off, trying to wipe them clean, wipe his hands clean.
Yeah, and that is going to be an issue. And, here at the high school level, they don't rotate very many balls into the game. So as the night goes on, it's just going to get heavier, wetter, and harder to catch.
And you see that main ref has a towel, a pretty big towel. He's been drying the ball off, but that towel's getting wet, and you do it so many times. Doesn't end up working. Dennison looks one way, throws the other. He's got one-on-one coverage, and this gets grabbed, and it will be a touchdown for Maple Mountain on another big play. Flag down in the backfield, could be holding or roughing. We'll see if this one comes back, but for right now, we've got a 6-6 game.
Yeah, and Oberhansley runs the fade that time and is able to come down with the touchdown catch, and we'll see if it stands. Great job by Dennison getting the ball out there where only his wide receiver could catch it that time.
A very difficult position where there's going to be a battle for the ball. And that time, after all the drop balls, one of the more difficult ones gets brought in.
Looks like it'll stand.
Finds the corner of the end zone as well. Yeah, we haven't
They're
heard.
talking to Maple Mountain.
So they'll wave it off. Nobody's picked up the flag, but it's a touchdown. Personal foul, roughing the passer, and it won't matter.
They pointed the wrong way on the penalty, but
it's called. We'll give them a pass on that one, and it'll be a 1-point lead if Maple Mountain can execute.
I think there's a chance that might be marked off on the kickoff. I think that might have been what his last hand signal was. We'll have to wait and see.
Snap is down clean. This one is up, and it is good. 1-point lead for the Golden Eagles. And where it looked like Spanish Fork was threatening, they go for it on 4th. And Maple Mountain able to use a couple of big pass plays to bring it down and get themselves a lead. They were in danger of going down by 2 scores, but 7-6 Maple Mountain.
And where was the passing game prior to that drive? Because it was non-existent.
46 seconds to go.
Next thing you know, we might find Bigfoot.
Hey, I work at a news station. We had a very prominent story about Bigfoot being found out by Utah Lake on the west side of Provo in a field. And it got a lot of people love Bigfoot stories. So Bigfoot could be in Utah County.
I've seen his tires sold down the road. And they will mark this off, that late hit, roughing the passer. Might as well just go for the onside kick because you're on Spanish Fork's 45.
At this point,
I have to ask, what news station do you work at?
I work at Fox 13.
Figures. Bigfoot, Fox 13.
Every station ran that one, as they do with most stories.
See if Durant goes for the onside kick or if he just tries to make it through the uprights.
And he does go for the onside kick, and it bounces off of a Don, and it's in a pile. We'll see who gets a hold of this one. Nobody even pointing yet.
Maple Mountain had a chance at it.
Absolutely, and it looks like Spanish Fork will eventually recover it. But absolutely bounces off of the big chest. Didn't go 10 yards, but you have the opportunity to pick it up there. They don't get it. Now, here's the thing. If you're a football player, you rush right into that pile and you point your way just for the heck of it.
Right.
It's our ball.
And you also do it when somebody jumps off. I thought it was an unwritten rule. Everybody points.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I saw it. It was in my guy's hands. Doesn't matter how clear it is. That's in the other team's hands.
A great job, though, by Spanish Fork taking that ball out.
Soft defense there, and they'll run it straight ahead. Lomax, and he's got a big gain. Oh, and a great tackle by Casper after a 12-yard gainer. That could have been big trouble.
Lomax with a great run. I thought he was going to break it for even longer, but then just at the end.
Well, a ton of space in the middle. You can tell they're playing a little bit of a prevent. They don't want one of those deep throws going long. This time, a few more men in the box. Here's Chappell outside to Stanton, who catches it. Oh, no, does not catch it.
Blessing in disguise for Spanish Fork that time as the clock was stopped.
26 seconds to go, so time for 3 or 4 plays. Try and get a big play to get out. I think you like Stanton to catch that one, catching up and get out of bounds if possible. But, yeah, that one gets dropped, and you save yourself from having to take a timeout or really just drain the clock.
I believe both teams still have 2 timeouts, so there's plenty of time for Spanish Fork to, get positioned for a possible Hail Mary.
Chappell inside to Lomax. Again, a huge charge forward, and Eve gets it outside. He gets outside one more time. And, if he would have caught that edge, he'd be in trouble. Great job by Maurer of chasing him down and tackling him. But now they are in position to try and strike. The clock stops for the Sticks. See if they take one of those timeouts with 19.8 seconds to go. Here's the replay again with not many men in the box. Lomax finds space, able to navigate his way, and you could tell he just had that one more outside jump to try and take it all the way to the house. It will be a timeout.
A lot of fancy blocking tonight we've seen from both teams. A lot of counters, a lot of traps, a lot of pulling guards, and it's worked. That especially for Spanish Fork. The 2 or 3 big runs they've had have been on misdirection. I guess you call those counters, and they're in business now at 35. And I think you're at the point where you might want to take a chance downfield and throw it to either Higginson or Stanton, Saili. Plenty of options for Chappell.
Home crowd is into it. A pretty good student section did develop for Maple Mountain. Again, not a massive crowd, but enough support. And Spanish Fork making their voices heard. Want to see if they can make something happen before the half as their team trails. 19.8 seconds. Chappell with split backs. Conway and Lomax. And this will be one-on-one deep to the outside, and it will be intercepted by Butler. And he might have an opportunity trying to close down that side, and he looks for space across. Nobody able to find it. Flags fly. 8.7 seconds to go. Maple Mountain with the ball and quite a bit of field for a Hail Mary or anything. That may be it, but we'll see what these flags say. As you see the replay one more time, they just go for it all in one. And again, you've got 2 bigger defenders in front of 1 receiver, and Butler intercepts that one.
Yeah, Higginson was open that time, and Chappell just didn't put enough air and get it behind the defenders that time. And Butler, though, he's looks like he's got gorilla arms out there and is able to pull that thing down out of the sky.
Yeah, if he leads and goes over the top, which we haven't seen a quarterback do on a fly route, which we've seen flies and fades, we've seen a lot of them, and they haven't been able to do it as of yet. So Maple Mountain will be on offense, but at some point there was a hold, so they'll take over at about the 30. We're at 8.7 seconds to go. See if they just take a knee here and bring it into the halftime.
Looks like they will take a knee.
So Maple Mountain kneels down to end the first half of play. They take a 7-6 lead in courtesy of a failed 2-point conversion by Conway and the Dons. The first half we saw some sloppy play, eventually some movement, and then big plays, a big throw and a big run right up the middle with the first scores for each team. But defenses generally have risen to the occasion, and we're playing a wet one right here in Spanish Fork. Any last first half thoughts?
Yeah, I think both defenses have stepped up to the challenge, and outside of a couple of plays here, it's been the defense's game. So I think we're in for another low-scoring ball game, and it could come down to the last play. We've seen that before in this rivalry.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with second half action right here on Spanish Fork 17.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork. MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Microphone ripping it. Everything funky, big get turn around, show me a donkey. Oh my lord, that's a whole nother chunk. I can tell you from a whole nother donkey. We got the two say tripping. She looking at me like you stay tripping. Don't she ain't come out of bag, got a young Madonna here. She gon' truck her body till her body need a Obama can. What you gonna do with that dessert?
body. Two runners from Maple Mountain High School student body and two from Spanish Fork High School. And we're racing from the 40-yard line to the 30-yard line.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Lance Wilson for your insurance and financial needs.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork. MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. All the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork. You know Triple T Heating and Cooling, but did you know that Triple T does plumbing? From tankless hot water, soft water, and reverse osmosis drinking water systems, right down to that leaky faucet. Triple T sure does plumbing. Call Triple T at 801-798-7711 today.
Quality halftime entertainment tonight for both the dance team and the cheerleading team. I'd like to say you missed out on seeing a little bit of a race, but it was actually horrible. So,
hey, way to sugarcoat it there, Mitch. Yeah, I would give it about a -5 on a scale to 0 to 10 myself, but that's just my opinion.
Slow, sloppy, a lot of false starts.
Pretty much sums up the football game in the first quarter as
That's
well
true.
as we're playing on a very sloppy track
I was
tonight.
about to say lots of grass stains, which those Maple Mountain uniforms are going to look fantastic after tonight. As you can see, just the shot right at the light, you can really get an appreciation for how hard it's coming down on the crowd and on the teams right now. This field we haven't seen splashing yet, but we'll see if some puddles start to develop in some of the more downtrodden areas of the field.
The field's held up excellently so far, but you can kind of see a couple of areas around the 30s and where it's starting to get beat up a little bit, and we'll see if that becomes an issue and here in the fourth quarter. But man, the field's held up great so far because it has not stopped raining since about 6 o'clock, except for maybe about 25-30 minutes tonight.
Right in the first quarter when we had it let up for a little bit, nobody scored. I guess they needed the rain for a little bit of inspiration.
Yeah, and in the first quarter there was no scoring. In the second quarter there was a 22-yard run by Lomax on a little counter play that time, and that gave Spanish Fork a 6-0 lead. The 2-point conversion by Conway failed. And then right before the half, Maple Mountain had a 30-yard touchdown pass from Dennison to number 3, Ober Hansley that time. It was a 30-yard pass, and wow, we got a lot of action going on here.
I thought it was a hawka,
but
it is some sort of hawk. But he's not cold.
Not yet. My feet are cold. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm not warm. Not warm right now. But it's better than being we are covered from the wind and the rain. So you can't complain.
It's bring your own umbrella night. I see a lot of umbrellas out there, but pretty exciting game. Very important because Spanish Fork is 0-2 in region, Maple Mountain 0-1, and they're falling behind the leaders as if the playoffs were to start tonight. Both of them would be on the outside looking in. I think one of these two teams will make it into the playoffs, and I think it might be decided by tonight's game because I just don't see UINA hanging on to that fourth playoff spot, and they have a 1-1 record right now. So I think this game's very critical tonight to get that first win in region, and I want to make a prediction that whoever wins this ball game will get into the playoffs in either that third or fourth spot.
That's a hot take. It's a controversial. Not really. I think definitely a lot of ability for both of these teams to make the playoffs still. So you said if tonight is it, then a lot to play for, and both of them really need to get back in the W column, especially for the first time in the region play. We're going to take one more break. We'll be back with second half action right here on Spanish Fork, Channel 17.
Better call ChemDry.
If you have pets, you need PERT, ChemDry's revolutionary pet urine odor and stain remover. ChemDry's innovative pet urine removal treatment eliminates pet urine and other odors at their source. Your pets can stay while their odors go away.
Voted 2014 Best Automotive Repair in Utah Valley Magazine, Dickerson Automotive.
I think the whatchamacallit on my car isn't working.
Not to worry. We're experts at fixing whatchamacallits.
Call for our specials or visit our website.
At Dickerson Automotive, we're committed to the finest repairs with personal care.
I trust Dickerson Automotive, and you can too.
Dickerson Automotive, way north on Main in Spanish Fork.
Here at Painter Motor, we have a variety of used vehicles from name brands such as Dodge, Buick, Ford, Kia, Hyundai, and Chevrolet. You'll find incredible deals, such as a 2013 Chrysler Town & Country for $18,995, the 2013 Chevrolet Impala LTZ, $14,995. We're the Painter Motor family, and we're here to get you on the road in the vehicle of your choice. No pressure, no hassle. Painter Motor.
Getting the health care you need can be confusing. Hi, I'm John Salambini, and as your advocate, I can help you get the assistance you deserve. My Advocate is a leading provider of support for Medicare savings and other community assistance programs. You may be eligible for government or other assistance programs to help low-income families get the health coverage they need. Also, let me connect you with other money-saving programs, all at no cost to you. Give me a call and let me be your advocate.
Welcome back to Spanish Fork High School with inter-region and inter-city play going on right now with Maple Mountain and Spanish Fork. 7-6 with just an extra point as the difference right now. Maple Mountain leads. See Spanish Fork back on the field already, trying to get warm, and you say that kind of before every half, but quite literally, got to stay warm.
Yeah, well, and Maple Mountain hasn't made it out of the field, and there's only 1 minute left here on the clock.
They're feeling that warmth as much as they possibly can. Take a moment and thank our sponsors. You can always get warm from Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, because heating is warmth. The car guys, Dickerson Automotive, State Farm, Lance Wilson, McKell Christensen, Wise, MVP Sports, and 2 Jacks Pizza. All of those fantastic services and bring these football games to you each and every week, and we're excited to bring them to you too. See if we can get action back underway. Don't know if it's going to happen on time, as both teams still out on the field and trying to get everybody organized and stretched out.
I show the weather being 47 degrees.
That's a lie.
And raining, but it feels a little bit colder than that, and looks like we'll have rain the rest of the night.
Meteorology is not Google's forte. I think that's just how I feel. I just disagree with them a lot, just from my personal feelings.
Well, we'll check the Weather Channel for you here.
Second opinion. Just like a doctor or a quote for car care, you should always get a second opinion on the weather. Both teams now look like they're gathering and ready to go. Man, that first half was all over the place. Both teams finding some success with the run. The ball a little slippery to really get the pass game going, but it ended up being a big factor for both teams in ball movement. Of course, the big play for Spanish Fork was the run. Off of a nice fake, the inside handoff to Lomax goes for 22 yards. And then Maple Mountain, who had some significant drops, ends up with a 30-yard bomb for their score. So we'll see how much those things continue to be part. And right now the workhorse is getting a lot of the action and a lot of the yards in Lomax for the Dons and Blandthorne for the Golden Eagles. See if they continue to bruise their way through. And they'll be sore tomorrow, but they've done a good job of helping their team pick up chunks of yards and hold on to possession.
And the Weather Channel has it at 47 degrees, and they did say that the rain will stop at 3:15 a.m. So if you're looking to get outside, wait till 3:15 a.m.
Yep, you just set an alarm and get up so you can enjoy some fresh, dry air. It's not a terrible. It's not light right now, but it's not a terrible rain if you need to go out and do something. But we thank you for tuning in, and it is also a great night to be under a fleece blanket or in your Snuggie, hanging out and watching some high school football under the Friday night lights.
Yeah, and we've seen some exciting finishes in this ball game. Last year, it came down to the last play where Spanish Fork had a Hail Mary to win it and just came up short. The game before that was the fumble heard across the world as Spanish Fork fumbled to try and get in the play-in game and lost that one as well. So Spanish Fork are looking for a little bit of payback tonight.
Right, and turnovers really only stung for Maple Mountain so far, but if Spanish Fork regains the lead, I'm sure that'll be something that is preached repetitively. Just let's hold on to that ball, hold on to that victory. Obviously, both teams shown that they have the ability to win this one, and this one win could go a long way.
Yeah, unless something changes, if somebody's able to get to 20 points, they're more likely than not going to win this ball game. We have not seen very much offense.
And, yeah, neither team has been super high scoring. Like I said, Spanish Fork has one significant scoring game. Otherwise, neither one significantly explosive.
Maple Mountain's just 1 point under their season average as they came in averaging just 8 points a game. Or 8.5. We'll round it up to 9.
That's generous.
And
they're going to switch sides.
We lined up incorrect. That's pretty much sums up how things have been going so far. Low scoring defense battle. Just trying to figure out how to get on the right side of the field tonight.
Refs have pointed the wrong way a couple times, so maybe they're getting it. But Spanish Fork, who trails by 1 point, is going to get the ball to start the quarter.
And I think if they want to win this ball game, Spanish Fork has to get Conway involved like they did at that Springville game and try and get him a few more touches. Now they've had him in that quarterback wildcat position a lot tonight.
He's also in the front line of the return. Here's Wee Stanton looking for some space off of the 1 yard line, and he tries some fancy juking. The ball comes loose. It's still loose. It's still trickling away, and it looks like Maple Mountain has landed on it, but it's big in the pile, and Stanton is upset with himself as he walks away, and Maple Mountain all comes up celebrating, and they are going to have the ball in premier scoring position.
I believe that was either 31 or 21 that came up with that fumble for Maple Mountain, and it is raining like crazy, so we might see a turnover fest here, but Maple Mountain's in business inside Spanish Fork's 5 yard line.
And that one just flung into the air, and then a couple of guys dive after it, and indicative of the weather right now, ball just slick and moving all about. Eventually more white jerseys there than red, which is to be expected when you guys are waiting for that runner to come up, but a tough way to start the half for the Dons.
And if you're this defense, you've got to try and force them to kick a field goal in this situation. You don't want your offense to fall too far behind.
Right now, just one man out wide. Nope, nobody out wide. Casper's going to stay in the backfield. And it's fumbled right off, so
2 for 2. Maple Mountain on the recoveries as well.
And that one, when you see the guy come into the game and the quarterback whispers, hey, just stand there, You kind of know that's going to be Blanthorne up the middle as they try and plug this one home, but you get a fumble right off the bat. And timeout?
I think our play clock went dead, or they want to reset the clock.
So yeah, we had some issues with this last week at Springville as well.
The clock operator did well to
try and keep up.
Try and keep it up. That clock was going haywire on him. He was getting pretty frustrated too.
So 11:50 should be the correct time, and both teams huddled up.
Well, it was 11:50 before. I'm not sure how you can have a fumble unless there was a timeout call before that play went off, but it should be. They've got it listed as 1st and 5. The play hasn't changed. Marker hasn't changed to 2nd, which is the official thing. So I guess that play did not exist.
So another shot with a clean sheet for the Golden Eagles. Dennison under center, Blanthorne and Casper behind him.
I'm not sure what happened. That might have been an official's timeout.
And you have the right side of the line and maybe the right side of the team jumping off, and all of a sudden from a play at the 4-yard line where you can play the ground and pound game, now a little bit more space to go, move them back 5 yards after the false start.
Yeah, the right tackle that time, Alphen, just decided to go one count too early, and that moves Maple Mountain back to the 10.
Maple Mountain once again comes out with nobody wide.
And the clock didn't move on the last play.
This is a toss out to Casper. He's looking for space, finds a little bit on the outside and gets it back to the original line of scrimmage.
That prior play was an untimed playing Canadian rules tonight.
I like it.
Now it's third down here, I believe. They haven't changed it yet.
Haven't changed the down marker. Referee is clarifying something with the coach who is pointing up at the scoreboard.
Back-to-back scoreboard problems. I think it's you, Mitch. It's not me.
Hey, they put me a good 10 feet away from everything, so can't call it my fault this week. Casper and Blanthorne in the backfield once again, that tight formation. Maurer, of note, is the man who is on the far, far right.
They wind the clock. I think we got everything figured out now.
Here we go. Quick handoff to Blanthorne. He rolls off the first couple attempts at a tackle, keeps on trucking and dragging Dons, and he's going to be extremely close. And they're going to call it 3rd down at the half-yard line.
This feels like we've had like 5 downs now, but it's only 3rd and 2.
Oh. So 3rd and goal after all of that, and this may be 2-down territory.
Right. I want to watch the the replay when that's posted to YouTube and see what exactly happened in this sequence.
And the quick handoff to Blanthorne, and he will get the required lack of yardage, and it'll be a touchdown for Maple Mountain. Their lead at 13-6, and they'll look to extend that to 14 with an extra point. As you see this one more time, this is what they wanted to do all along, just hammer it home. And Blanthorne didn't even have to really power anything through. A good job by the offensive line. They really won the battle in the trenches that time around, and it's another touchdown for Maple Mountain.
Yeah, great job by that offensive line, making a big enough hole for Blanthorne just to ram his way into the end zone that time.
Here's the extra point, which will matter. It forces the Dons to go for 2 if they get another touchdown. And that one is up and good. 14-6 is the Maple Mountain lead. And I know that felt like a long time, but we are just a minute 20 into this half.
Minute 20 into the half, Maple Mountain kicks the ball off, and due to that great field position after the fumble that just was difficult for Stanton to hang on to, they're in business with a 14-6 lead. And if they're able to hang on, they'd be in great position as they'd be 1-1 in region. And their first region opponent was none other than Springville. Maple Mountain played American Fork tough. I know their record says 0-5, but I don't think they're an 0-5. I guess I should say 0-5. O's not a number, but 0-5 football team.
It's a common term. It's conversational. Yeah, no, they have the opportunity. There's no game throughout the rest of the region where I think that they need to feel significantly overmatched. And if they can win the majority of those, like you said, that fourth spot really looks attainable.
And usually what ends up happening in this region historically, not to talk bad about UNA and Payson, but those two teams usually struggle to win region games. So there's some winnable games for both of these programs later on in the season.
Stanton went for this kick. It looks like it's going to be a touchback, and it will be. So that one goes through the end zone, and flags fly. There was some contact up front. It didn't look late, but something happened and somebody's get some yards.
I think what happened is one of the Spanish Fork upmen threw a pancake block, but then failed to get off the Maple Mountain guy in a timely manner, and I think that's what the officials are going to call here, and it probably will move Spanish Fork back to the 10.
That looks like exactly what they're going to call. Spanish Fork with a little bit longer way to go, a silly mistake to make.
And Maple Mountain's been running this 3-4 defense here, which gives them a lot of options to bring that fourth guy. And we'll see if Spanish Fork's offensive line's up to the challenge, because they've been putting a lot of pressure on Chapel thus far tonight.
And it looks like they're just rushing 3. They will. Here's Lomax looking for some space, and looks like that pile's going to end up just barely ahead of the line of scrimmage.
And if you're Maple Mountain's defensive coordinator, how great is it to have Maurer and Blathorn at those defensive end positions where you can at times drop 8 guys into coverage. Gives you a lot of options. And, their defense has done excellent this year outside of one game where they gave up 37 points to Corner Canyon. Other than that, nobody else has scored more than 21 on them.
Stanton with the inside handoff to Lomax. He looked off tackle, saw Blanthorn, tries to plug his way up the middle, and he'll just pick up another couple of yards. So nothing doing so far. That's what's tough, is you want to try and get outside, but they do a good job of not being overly aggressive and really sealing off the ends.
Right. Nah, I'm taking a look at some of these students in the student body section, and they will not need to shower when they get home because they've already gotten their shower. They are soaked in front of us.
Also some quality costumes going on, and some of it very nice and protective from the weather.
Right, but it's going to get cold here for these players in the later parts of the fourth quarter.
And one more time, straight up the middle of Lomax. This time he finds some space. He escapes another linebacker, eventually dragged down, but not until he gets a first down and almost 10 more yards. So third time's a charm. They just keep handing him the ball up the middle. And here's your replay.
A great job. It's just a shotgun formation, and they hand it off to Lomax, and they do that so well, and he's able to pick up a big chunk of yards.
Chapel in the back 4 wide. Lomax still in the game, and it'll be another inside handoff. Lomax, he looks at that edge, tries to find space in the middle, so seeing a little bit of a pattern here, not able to get outside, but space has been there. But after one play, Maple Mountain buckles down and stops him that time for just a few yards.
Yeah, and they've been going with Chapel straight as the quarterback this time, and this possession here in the third quarter.
When Conway walks in.
And then
good timing.
Conway's back, so we'll see if maybe that double pass is in the formation or in the playbook this week as well.
We know Conway will take that swing pass, or he'll just take a straight run. Lomax side by side. It will be a toss inside. Here's the touchdown play once again, and there's a big seam. Somebody tugs at his ankles. He trucks through them, and eventually a linebacker, strong safety, looks like Casper, comes up and takes down Lomax. Same thing that they scored the touchdown on. You fake the toss out to Stan inside, and Lomax has just been able to crack the seam.
Yeah, and great job by Spanish Fork's offensive line sealing the edge, allowing that hole to happen on the end, and just Maple Mountain reacts very well to the pitch that time. Everybody wants to swarm, but they've got to stay in their gaps and have gap integrity.
1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. Spanish Fork trying to get back in this one, down by 8. There's the handoff to Lomax one more time. That's been every play so far this drive, I believe.
And when it's working, why change? It does set up a possible play action pass downfield. I think Maple Mountain's going to have to creep up, especially some of their guys in the secondary, because you don't want to let Lomax get too far downfield.
And Lomax is off the field this play, so it won't be a handoff to him, and I only feel 50% sure of that prediction. Inside handoff, and it is out of the hands of Conway and fumbled. It could be another fumble turnover. You have some Maple Mountain Golden Eagles pointing, and now the crowd goes wild, and it will be Golden Eagle ball. So Conway, who's been so excellent all around this one, it never looked like the exchange got through very clean, fumbles this one, and that's consecutive fumbles to give Maple Mountain the ball, and Spanish Fork was on their way.
And Spanish Fork thus far in region play has been fumbling away ball games, and once again here in the third quarter, they have their second big fumble as they had one on the opening kickoff, and then they were driving the ball well, able to run it, and Conway just wasn't able to get a good grip on it that time as the exchange between him and Chappell wasn't exactly clean.
So reverse the scenario. Dennison now awaits the snap. It'll be an inside handoff, gets wrapped up right away. Excellent penetration, and it'll just be a yard gain. And they'll be right at about midfield. So where we just had the Dons, now we have the Golden Eagles, and they can look to really put this in a tough spot for the Dons if they can get another touchdown on the scoreboard.
Yeah, that would almost be an insurmountable lead, you'd think, but Spanish Fork fell behind Springville significantly and was able to come back in the fourth quarter and send that thing into overtime. So I think a two-possession game in the fourth quarter is not out of the question of Spanish Fork coming back and tying it up.
Blanthorne in the backfield. It's going to be a pass out to Casper. He finds a little bit of room. He'll get pushed out about 2 yards shy of the first. But a nice little pass play. See if that helps momentum get going.
And it brings up a critical third down. We've seen Maple Mountain elect to punt in this territory when they have not picked up the first down.
And now with a lead, I think we can expect that. So a huge play for the Spanish Fork defense.
Of course, we've seen them go for it on fourth on their own side of the territory with just a couple minutes to go in the half.
If they get a couple yards, I'm sure they would have. This is a wide open receiver, and the corner able to take him down right after the catch, but he had the inside position. Dennison finds the right spot, and that's a nice chunky yardage down into the red zone for the Golden Eagles, and they're threatening to get that 2-score lead.
And that's over Hansley again. He had a touchdown catch in the first half, and he's making a name for himself tonight.
He's been the weapon of choice for Dennison, and so far it's worked out.
Since both teams are Spanish Fork, he's making, they're in the Spanish Forks area, he's making a push for the Car Guys, MVP Sports MVP Player of the Game.
Blanthorne follows his blockers, looking for a little bit of space, and he'll pick up a couple after that.
And it's been a lot of Blanthorne and running the ball here in the second half as well, as he had that earlier touchdown when they received the ball at the 5-yard line. So I don't think they're going to go away from that game plan tonight. They've had a lot of success. Both teams have running it up the middle. Passing's been somewhat of an adventure at times.
It has, and it makes the pass a little bit more surprising when that continues. As you can see, Dennison quick inside. The Hansley once again.
And once again, it's his favorite target tonight, Ober Hansley, and picks up a first down.
Now look at Blanthorne.
He's actually short.
Yeah, just a couple yards. So you have a third and short here again, 4-down territory. It's Blanthorne time. Look at Blanthorne's jersey color. There's a couple linemen that are there, but man, his just looks like an entirely different shade of white and green and dirt compared to everybody else on Maple Mountain side. 3 wide, Blanthorne in the back. It'll be a handoff to him straight up the middle. He dives forward. It looks like he's going to be just a bit short. But I'm guessing we're going to see something similar to that on 4th down. And see if some bigger bodies come into play right now for Spanish Fork.
Yeah, Spanish Fork's bringing in the beef. It's what's for fourth down. And I imagine we'll most likely see Blanthorne up the middle, but we'll see if Maple Mountain gets a little creative here on fourth and a long one.
Casper will be behind him. And again, no wide outs. You got Maurer off on that right side in the flank position. He'll move in, and he takes out that initial runner. And then there's a big pile, but it looks like that pile moves in front of the first down marker.
Yeah, Blanthorne was able to take that handoff and spin his way to a first down. And great job once again by the Maple Mountain offensive line, as both offensive lines are winning the line of scrimmage tonight.
This is an excellent play because Maurer, who's outside on the end in like a tight end position, comes in, pulls in like a pulling guard, takes out the first man to come through the line, and right off of his back, Blanthorne's able to find the space, and now it's 1st and goal for the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, they both looked like they wanted to double team that defense end right where they were running that ball, as everybody was packed in tight.
Just under 4 minutes to go in the third. This is a toss outside, and a wall of Dons doesn't allow for any space or any cutback lanes on the toss. It'll be 2nd down and goal after a minimal gain.
And both teams are just churning the clock. It seems like this might be our fastest game of the season so far, as it's only 8:39 and we're winding down here in the third quarter. But it's 2nd and goal for Maple Mountain here. I wonder if they'll take a chance through the air. Oberhansley's been their favorite target, but they also got Butler, who's listed at 6'4".
A little bit more of a power formation in, and it'll be the same play. Toss outside to Casper. Doesn't find a lane once again, but he'll get him a little bit closer. It looks like down to about the, I don't know where that referee ended up, 5-yard line. So 3rd and goal.
Third and goal from the 5 here. This I think you might be in a position, if you're Maple Mountain, they've got a decent kicker, that if you don't get close to the goal line, you might want to just go ahead and take that field goal and try and make it a 2-possession ball game here.
Blanthorne in the backfield. Butler is out wide right, and you have 2 receivers out left, including Hansley, who's been huge. Crowd getting up. Dennison rolls, nobody, tosses it back to the end zone and throws this one away as nobody was there, and he was hitting sideline with nowhere for him to go with it, so it'll be 4th down.
And Dennison got sandwiched at the end of that play. He just ran out of time, did the smart thing, threw it out of bounds, and you know, some people try and force it, especially at the high school level, but it's better to get 3 points, or at least to have an attempt at 3 points, rather than throw an interception in the red zone.
Yeah, instead of tossing it in there or trying to put it all the way across your body, have a chance to live another day and extend this lead. It still will be a 2-score lead if they can convert the field goal. And that's up and good. And right now the kicking game is the difference. That was the 1-point difference that got the lead at 7-6 because they kicked the extra point. Now they've converted both of those as well as a field goal, and it's 17-6. Spanish Fork is going to have 2 minutes in the fourth quarter to get themselves 2 scores. They're going to need to hold on to the ball to do it. I mean, obviously, but that's been their Achilles heel. And they'll also have to hold back a Maple Mountain offense who seem to find a rhythm. They've been pounding away with Blanthorne and then completing a couple of key passes.
They have, and we'd like to thank our sponsors here on SFCN. We've got the car guys, Dickerson Automotive, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, Triple T Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, Mikkel Christiansen, Wise Attorneys at Law, MVP Sports, Two Jacks Pizza, and you can catch all these games not only on SFCN on the cable channel, but also on the SFCN website and YouTube.com under the Spanish Fork 17 channel. And Durant kicks off here.
Saili is going to pick this one up. Looking to find a blocker. And he finds a little bit of a seam. He was waiting for contact, and it didn't happen.
Did he fumble again?
Oh, no. And guys are playing both ways. That's how I like it. And Spanish Fork jumps for joy that they maintained possession.
It's the small things in life, like fumbling and recovering it.
Hey, after you lose to it is exciting. It's just tough to see because you want to be causing those turnovers. We'll see if they can have an effect, but their offense is going to have decent field position, try and get something going, starting from about the 29-yard line.
Yeah, and if you're Spanish Fork, you're down 2 possessions worth of scores. So if you probably need to get one here sooner rather than later.
Quick pass outside to Stanton, who tries to find some space, and good job getting smothered by that defensive back. Just a 4-yard gain. And is there a flag? There is.
There is a flag. I think it was a face mask on Wee Stanton that time, as he tried to go under, and the Maple Mountain defender decided the only way he could bring him down was to grab his face mask, and he was successful in doing so.
So, positive yards for the Dons. Get the help of a little yellow laundry from the Zebras, courtesy of a face mask. And they're now in business. They're going to be almost to half field.
And, that was a 15-yard variety. So here at the high school level, there's the option of the 5 and the 15, but he clearly brought him down by the face mask that time.
Chapel and Lomax in the backfield. And a pass outside to Condi. First time he's touched it on offense. Picks up about 5 before he gets driven back. So we haven't heard Condi's name, and you got to wonder how much we'll hear Conway's name after he makes a mistake. He's still walking along with head coach and offensive coordinators as the plays get called, so probably still a part of the offense, but
right,
big mistake this half.
And Butler that time comes up and makes the tackle. We've called his name a lot tonight.
And Butler, a tall guy, able to get down on Condi and just push it back, and a few more white shirts in the area as well. 2nd and 6. A pass again from Chapel. Looks outside, comes back into Higginson. And that will be another 4-yard gain, so 3rd and a short 2.
And they got the 4-yard gain because Higginson is a deep ball threat. Last year he averaged over 20 yards a catch and had multiple long touchdown catches. So Butler and those guys have to respect the deep ball that can be thrown to Higginson, and he's caught a couple this season as well.
Higginson out wide right, Stan out wide left. It's going to be an inside handoff to Lomax. Haven't seen that in a little bit, and he just rolls and tumbles his way out to the first down. He definitely wasn't touching the ground. He kind of rolled off and fell for it, but easily gets that extra yard past the first down marker.
I think we'll call him Twinkle Toes, as he was just pirouetting on that play and gets the first down. I think that's the right term.
It is. I'm impressed. First down from the 44 wide. Lomax back with Chapel. Fakes the inside handoff, and it's going to be a fly route long to Higginson, and he's going to have a foot inbounds. It looked like to me it will be a complete catch down at the 12-yard line, and Spanish Fork is making their way to bring this one a little closer.
Boy, that was close to being out of bounds, but yes, he did have a foot inbounds clearly and made the catch, and if that ball would have been thrown just a little bit more to the inside, it'd probably be 12-17 right now.
Absolutely. But, I mean, let's start small. This first time we've seen something go behind the secondary, able to find him after the short play to Higginson, finds him on the longer one. You do want to lead him on the inside towards the end zone, but over the head of the defender, in a good spot, inside handoff to Lomax, and he gets met in the backfield by Blandthorne and taken down. First time we've really seen the one-on-one as this quarter is winding to an end. We'll see if they decide to do another play, but a great catch by Higginson, able to get that 1 foot in bounce, and a first long play we've seen over the head of a secondary.
Yeah, he definitely caught it, and the conditions are not ideal for throwing the ball tonight by any stretch of the imagination.
There's some sticky magic on those gloves these days, though. We'll be right back with fourth quarter action right here on Spanish Fork 17.
Hi, welcome to Two Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
In Spanish Fork, see your good neighbor State Farm agent Lance Wilson for your insurance and financial needs.
Welcome back to Spanish Fork High School. Spanish Fork Dons, Maple Mountain Golden Eagles going at it in a crosstown rivalry. Region 8 play, 17-16. Right now, Golden Eagles lead, but Dons just got a big pass play from Chapel to Higginson, and they are looking to score and bring this one back within 3.
They are, and they've been on the move here. That key pass to Higginson really has put them in position, and it's still anybody's ball game. We'll see if Spanish Fork has some fourth quarter magic. The last couple of weeks on SF-17, we had Salem Hills come back in the fourth quarter and win, and last week Spanish Fork came back in the fourth quarter, sent it into overtime, but just ended up a little bit short.
Chapel tosses out to Conway. He's trying to get to the edge, and a great edge set by Maple Mountain. And nothing doing there. Nowhere to cut back either. White jerseys swarming as it looked promising in the beginning, but nowhere to go. And it's going to be, looks like they're going to move the line of scrimmage forward about a half yard.
Half a yard.
So 2nd and 11 and the
third and
11. 3rd and 11, and
right.
The end zone not far away from that.
Quickly getting you updated on some other Region 8 scores. At the half, Springville was up 40-7 on Uinta, and Salem Hills at the end of the third quarter was beating Wasatch 10-3.
Snap to Chapel. Conway swings outside, looking for Condi on the inside slant and throws it way behind him. So a miscommunication, or didn't know what kind of spot or route he was looking for, and that's incomplete. Now Spanish Fork looks to be bringing in a field goal unit to bring this within 1 score, as it's 4th and 11 with about 13 yards to go before that end zone.
And James Dahl will set up for a 30-yard attempt here, and this is huge.
It is, and Dahl capable, but tough conditions, and he hasn't been warmed up. No kicks so far for him.
The officials here are trying to sort something out. So that was an official's timeout. I think our play clock's gone dead on us.
Now they seem ready to go as the white hat blows that whistle. Rain continues to fall, steady and sure. Here's Dawes' kick. It's good, 17-9, and now Spanish Fork just a touchdown and a 2-point conversion away, and they love that 2-point conversion. So call it a touchdown, but Maple Mountain going to get the chance to grab this one, maybe chew some clock and extend this lead once again.
And Spanish Fork hasn't even attempted a extra point after the they haven't attempted a kick on the extra point since Salem Hills, as last week they went for all of them.
Take a look at our sponsors, the Car Guys, Dickerson Automotive, State Farm, Lance Wilson, Triple T, Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Mikkel Christensen, Wise, Attorneys at Law, MVP Sports, and Two Jacks Pizza. But
I was going to say, you can see in this shot, it's still raining.
Yeah, still coming down. I think by now they're used to it. They're good, but
I just worry that the ball might weigh 300 pounds by the end of the game.
See if Spanish Fork maybe can get a turnover of their own. It's been deadly for them, and yet they're still within striking distance. And Maple Mountain been pretty clean with it. Their only turnovers when it was dry, and this one gets pooched out into no man's land, but it'll get picked up. And a huge block right there. And nobody from Spanish Fork is able to make this tackle. Bueller makes his way all the way to the 41, as there was contact pretty early on and nobody able to bring him down.
Wow, but there was a huge block. I didn't see who threw that in the middle of the play, but that set up the return. And I think that block might have intimidated every single other
They heard it.
defender.
They felt it.
I felt it, and I'm a solid 100 yards away.
takes something to get your eyes off of the ball carrier, but that one definitely made a sound that turned heads. So here's Denison, Maple Mountain with good field position, trying to extend this lead. Inside handoff to Blanthorne, and he gets wrapped up right away once again. And that might be the way to do it. If he gets that line clean, they're able to bring a man inside and just wrap him up, get a man around the ankles before contact.
And that's one way to stop Blanthorne, is to get him before he gets started and call that play. Our Mikkel Christiansen-Wise, attorneys at law, great defensive play of the game. And we've had plenty of great defensive plays.
Absolutely. It comes to mind Blanthorne's big tackle of Lomax in the backfield. Last drive, again, Lomax able to pick up chunks of yards, but not that time. 2nd and 10. Here's Blanthorne on the very similar play again. Early contact, and he falls forward for a minimal gain, and it's going to be 3rd and long. Wouldn't the Dons love if they can get a 3 and out and carry that momentum from their last quality drive into another?
Right, and it's huge if you can stop him here, because I don't think Maple Mountain will go for it, even if they get it fairly close. Just because of the way the game has been played, I would punt it away too if I was Coach Burtonshaw.
Denson in the shotgun, Blanthorne back there with him 4 wide, and I think I think I saw an offensive player twitch, but a man absolutely goes into the neutral zone. We'll see where the referees call this one. And it's going to be encroachment on Spanish Fork. So it goes from about a 3rd and 7 to a 3rd and 2. So now you have the option of Blanthorne, and maybe a lot more likely to go for it, as that first down is just across midfield.
And you can even throw it deep here if you have the preset notion that you're going to go for it on 4th down.
I thought you were going to say cojones. But yeah, throw it deep, do something they don't expect. You have Bueller one-on-one, and it's going to be inside going for the first down, and a lot of contact, but Blanthorne still trucking, still churning. He's still going, Dragon Dons, and he finally tumbles forward down to the 30-yard line, a gain of just over 20 yards. That is an impressive run from a young man who's just been worked tonight.
Man, he's like the Energizer Bunny on this run. He just keeps on going and going and going and going and going.
4 or 5 Dons come completely off of him, and he drags one for half of it. There's a flag on the field, however. Both captains talking to the refs. We'll see where this one goes. Hopefully it's not holding, because he didn't need any blockers on that play.
There was a lot of pushing and shoving after the play.
And it's going to come back. That one is on Maple Mountain, so Spanish Fork lives another day after on 3rd down. A simple dive play ended up huge.
Now, was that a chop block they called that time?
So they will get the first down. They just won't get any of the nice yardage, spot foul. It looked, I was not sure of the hand signal he called. It may have been a chop block. So just across midfield, Maple Mountain threatening. And this one, Blanthorne. This time somebody puts their arms around him and digs in. Just a gain of about 2.5.
And that's quite the collision that time between Blanthorne and Gavin Campbell. Is a lot of strength and power for both of those guys.
And Campbell, a name that we heard a lot. He hasn't been involved in hasn't had a great pass rush play. Not that there's really been opportunities for that, as Denison generally does the sprint outs on most of his passes, but he's been a factor all around. Haven't heard his name a ton, but he's been a big part of this Dons defense all season long. Here's the pass. He swings out to the trip side, follows a little bit of a block, continues the spin and turn, and a good job working for some extra yards. That one goes for about 10, and it's going to be first down now into Don territory. As you check out the Car Guys replay.
Yeah, great little swing pass, and they did a good job of picking up the yardage they needed for the first down and knocking down the kid on the sideline as well. Up next, though, for Maple Mountain is Uwinin. We'll carry that game here for you on SF17. And Spanish Fork actually is taking the week off.
Recharge. Get warm. It'll take a while. Dennison is going to run it himself. He goes out through the tonight. He's got a lot of space right up the seam. And he goes for about 15 yards as everybody focused on Blanthorne, and the dummy play works to perfection. As you can see just off of the inside, that linebacker, the defensive end, comes all the way across the line, leaving a wide open space. Dennison gets between a couple of linebackers, and it's a huge gain for Maple Mountain. They're now at the 20-yard line, threatening to extend this lead, and it's a big time for the Spanish Fork defense if they want to stay in it.
And we saw a couple of defensive linemen rotate off the field. I think Maple Mountain might be wearing out this Spanish Fork defense as they have pounded the ball nonstop since this game kicked off.
And the clock now becoming a factor. We're at 7:30 to go in the game, and the hands are in the wrong hands if you're a Spanish Fork fan. Bueller able to dodge the first tackle, and he finds a seam between the next wave. He's still on his feet, dives forward, and he's going to be just a little bit short of the first down. But the screenplay, once again, doesn't fully fool Spanish Fork, but he gets into the area between defenders and makes it work.
He did a great job of breaking a tackle there in the backfield and then heading upfield to get positive yardage in it. They ran that play a lot, and Spanish Fork's anticipating it, but I think Maple Mountain just had more will on that play to pick up the yardage.
So 2nd and about 1.5 for Maple Mountain, and they've got to get rid of clock, so I think they just keep hammering this one away, especially with short yardage situations and the field spread. You've got to honor that, but Blanthorne gets it on the inside, and he gets met early but still picks up a few. That'll be a first down.
Yeah, and this is huge if you're a Maple Mountain fan. If you can get the ball in the end zone and make it a two-possession game as they have it, 1st and goal here.
First and goal from the 8-yard line, and huddle up and take your time if you're Maple Mountain. Spanish Fork, see if they try pressure or something to try and slow down this running attack that has set up a few nice passes and screenplays as well, as the defenders have to stay aggressive. Blanthorne met in the backfield and taken down. That's an excellent play. And that is Gavin Campbell.
And number 55 plugs the hole. Also, Leilula, number 53, was in there to make sure he was going to go nowhere. And we'll see if they can hold up here again on 2nd down. Maple Mountain is going to take a lot of time off the clock no matter what.
Under 5:30 to go now. Power eye situation. Blanthorne from the fullback spot trucks his way down inside the 5. He's still on his feet and dives forward to about the 1-yard line. Man, you think he stopped, and then he finds another gear, and they're just not able to get his body all the way to the ground. And we're going to creep under 5 minutes with Maple Mountain about to punch this one in.
I imagine we will probably see a run, and I'm guessing it's either going to be Blanthorne. Well, I'm going to just say it's Blanthorne, but also we could see
Maurer is in the game.
Maurer's in the game as well.
He's coming out to the end, which he's done a few times. We'll see if they bring him in for that extra inside blocker once again. That's where he's looking, and then straight ahead to Blanthorne, and we've got a whistle. And he put his hands on his hips like it is an encroachment penalty.
And I think he was going to get in there, and Casper dotted the I that time, and it's all for naught.
Yeah, under center, power eye, something we just haven't seen. No.
I think they gave the wrong hand signal there, but encroachment by the offense.
Either way, Spanish Fork will take it. Now you're at 3rd and 6 rather than, right at the goal line.
And that clock keeps on slipping into the future, and it's going to be under 4 minutes and 30 seconds by the time they snap this.
Dons will need some magic and then an onside kick and some extra magic, but we've seen crazier happen. And they could still stop Maple Mountain. Right here is Blanthorne straight up the middle, finds some space, goes down, and it is a touchdown as his body never hit grass. Even though he kind of came down, it didn't seem any elbow or knee hit until he was in the end zone as he rolls over the defender, and the score now sits at 23-9 with 4 minutes and 18 seconds to go.
And that is Blanthorne's second touchdown run of the evening, and this one of the 6-yard variety. And I think Maple Mountain's game plan was to try and run the ball. They've established the run, and they've worn down the Spanish Fork Dons defense.
They have, and Spanish Fork up to the challenge to some degree, but you can just get worn out after time, and their offense has given Maple Mountain short fields and turnovers, which means more time on the field. Here's the kick to make it 24, and that is good. So now a dire situation for the Dons.
If you're the Dons, you need to score early. I think you got to go straight into your 2-minute offense, and you got to be slinging that ball with Chapel. They have plenty of receivers in Saili, Higginson, Stanton, Colt Condi, plenty of options, but you just got to sling that ball.
They're going to need 2 2-minute drives and a successful onside kick.
Well, I've seen crazier things happen in this rivalry. There have been some exciting finishes. Maple Mountain holds on. They'd go to 1-1 in region, and then their first win in the season, and they haven't won since clear back in October of 2015. So back to the winning ways. Last year they had a great season that had 7 wins, but still found a way not to find it in the playoff, which is unheard of in Utah, but they did go undefeated in region. Non-region play last year.
So a meaningful win as Maple Mountain tries to get back in the W column for the first time in nearly a year. This one's going to fall short of the end zone, and Saili is going to bring it up, looking for space, trying to find some good position. And a good job by Maple Mountain of breaking down and then eventually tracking him down, and the flag is thrown at the end as he gets out to about the 25-yard line.
A great job of Maple Mountain's number 41, Cody Cloward, chasing him down on the edge, but I think we'll have a late hit at the end of that play. Oh, it's a targeting penalty.
He did come in, and there was helmet-to-helmet contact, and that should be 15 yards. Definitely saw helmets collide, but you never know from here how they're going to judge it, if he leads or where and when it hits. And as you said, it was near when he was down. So great field position to start this drive that has to result in a touchdown for the Spanish Fork Dons. Chapel and Lomax in the backfield. Chapel to Higginson, who picks up about 5 yards and steps out of bounds. Good clock management play there. Efficient piece of passing. Finally maybe getting used to passing in this rain.
And I think only 3 seconds went off the clock that time, and you pick up 5 yards. We'll see if Maple Mountain cheats up a little bit on that out pattern or hitch. I didn't see what Higginson ran that time.
Inside handoff to Lomax. He's getting chased by Maurer, comes all the way around, and then Lomax gets swallowed up after a 4-yard gain. So 3rd and 1 for Spanish Fork. We are now at about 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go in this game.
And they huddle up, and that takes a lot of time off the clock when you run it and then huddle up.
And they hand it off inside to Lomax once again, and he's not going to get back to the line of scrimmage. So back-to-back runs, draining the clock, and no dice, maybe just going for what's unexpected right there.
Right, and they lose a yard, and that brings up 4th down, but at some point you have to sling the ball. The clock is moving. We're under 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Some questionable play calling here late in this game for Spanish Fork's offense.
And if you're doing that, you got to use those timeouts, but I'm guessing they want to save those for the next drive. Now you have 4th down, where if you don't make it, this might be over. Chapel, the team's huddling up. He comes all the way over to the sideline to get the play. It's an inside handoff once again, and it's going to be very close, but looks short and they'll need to call a timeout regardless.
Well, the clock stops on change of possession. I think they're going to call for a measurement, but I am standing right at the 50-yard line, and it looks to be awfully close. It could be a chain length or two away.
It is. If you look at the nose of the ball, it's going to be close, and they actually moved it a little bit forward from where the original ref ran in, and, you know, you can't challenge a spot or anything, but ball is down, and chain crew's coming in, and now they're saying, hey, chain stretch, let's get exact spot. And I can't eyeball something that's within inches from here, but it's going to be very, very close.
This is a critical spot right here. The guy on the far side of the field didn't mark it that far up, but looks to be just short.
And there will be inches short, and Maple Mountain celebrates as there's little the Dons will be able to do at this point. 3 consecutive runs. I don't know. I mean, obviously it's bad for time. You have the timeouts, and maybe you don't waste your big pass or your trick play. You're going for what's unexpected, but nothing was there. You know that they have a solid defensive line, and they were up to the challenge each line, or each play, each down. And so now the possession will change, and with 2:56 to go, you can use your timeouts and then see what happens.
But credit Maple Mountain's defense that time, as their linebackers and defensive linemen were able to make 3 straight stops there.
And Lomax has been able, you know, he gets a yard the vast majority of the time, and also had some great runs throughout the night, but nothing doing there. Dennison under center, fakes it, holds on to it, and kind of runs in a circle, goes back to where he took the snap, and goes down, 2nd and 10.
It's like nothing happened at all, but the clock continues to move, and Spanish Fork is not electing to use any of their timeouts yet, and they're going to have to here pretty soon.
24-9, Maple Mountain leads. They've got the ball, and that time I don't know if it was a botched play. I was surprised that it looked like it could be a throw to any degree, but we'll see where the play call heads this time with 2 minutes and 19 seconds and ticking. Again, Dennison comes under center, this time with Blanthorne and Maurer in the backfield. And the fumble, the exchange is fumbled, but Maurer picks it up, and he finds a little bit of room. Everybody's in the box, so a lot of space, and luckily somebody's back there to tackle him. And it ends up being a gain of about 6, and it'll be 3rd and short with under 2 minutes to go, and the first timeout is called by Spanish Fork.
And on that last run, I thought Maurer was going to pick that thing up and take it the distance, because for a 1/10 of a second, I didn't see that defender back there. But Maple Mountain is essentially 1 first down away, if they can hang on to the ball and not fumble, from winning this ball game and going 1-1 in region play. With you win at home next week, and you win it usually historically struggles in region, so might be a chance for Maple Mountain to pull ahead with the 2-1 record.
Get some momentum going.
Looking a long ways ahead, but that's what we do.
That's right. And, I mean, that is the catalyst that this could be. So 2nd and call it 4. 1:56 to go. Again, extra heavy formation for the Golden Eagles.
I would be shocked if they do anything but run it here, but the down marker says 2nd, but it's clearly 3rd. Trying to get that sorted out.
Been a little bit late on most of these. So all cleared up now. Referees done a good job of holding play when they've needed to get things correct, as this game has still moved along pretty quickly. Inside handoff to Blanthorne, and he will get met right away and fall forward for a couple of yards. It'll be 4th and 1. And another timeout called by the Dons.
The Dons waited about 5 seconds to make that timeout, and that's every second counts in these ball games.
take a moment to thank our sponsors while we have some time. That was a great defensive stand from Maple Mountain, and they are about to close things out. We've got the car guy, Dickerson Automotive. They have the finest repairs with personal care. State Farm, Lance Wilson, Mikhail Christensen and Wise Attorneys at Law, Triple T, Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, Sporting Goods for all seasons, and 2 Jacks Pizza. And of course, State Farm Lance Wilson offers our great assist, and on that last play when there could have been a turnover, a great assist picking up the ball from Maurer and making something out of nothing.
This is a huge play. I'm assuming Maple Mountain's going to go for it here, but I assumed wrong.
You know, you think, hey, we get it, or we give them the ball there. And I mean, time is almost impossible right now for the Dons, but a first down would really put it away. But they will punt. We stand back to return this one, and maybe a little special teams magic and a punt return with plenty of time, or a onside kick with plenty of time. And this one gets some air, bounces in an odd spot, and it'll trickle down to the 10-yard line. So an efficient punt, 90 yards to go with just 97 seconds to go in the game, and they need 2 scores.
And one of those, they have to convert a 2-point conversion to tie it up.
See if we see any trickery, see if we see any Conway.
Well, whatever you do, you got to get the ball downfield in a hurry.
Yeah, if they hand it off 3 straight times again, well, I don't know anything about football then. At that point,
there'll be a lot of booing, I imagine.
There will be, and I am pro-booing when it comes to those types of decisions. Looking deep, one-on-one, Stanton's going to step in front of it, and he'll catch this one. And he's down to about the 35-yard line. And no timeouts here. You just got to sprint, get on it, and snap it again.
Yeah, great job of Stanton boxing out that time, and it looks like they're just going to heave it downfield and probably just a bunch of fader outs.
And the change crew's slow, so you're probably not going to lose too much time. They even start the clock really before they're set. Quick outside route to Stanton. That goes for about 6 yards, and he gets out of bounds, so the clock stops with 1:25 to go.
And if you're Spanish Fork, you're facing impossible odds here, but they've had a great start to this drive. A couple of quick completions.
Yeah, if you just toss it down deep every time, it becomes a sort of contest to see who can jump for it, so they mix it up and get out of bounds. Nice, efficient work, and the ball slips out of the hand as Chappell is he's trying to bring it up and find somebody, and Spanish Fork is forced to take their last time out of the game with 1:20 to go. Looking at quite a bit of field, needing 2 scores, and it's 3rd and 8.
They're going to switch the ball here. I imagine all the balls that Spanish Fork are using are very wet. Well, I think you got to score here in a hurry if you're Spanish Fork, so I imagine we'll see a lot more of those fade patterns.
Try and find where you're going to have one-on-one, but Chappell needs enough time to identify a better option to see maybe where that safety's not going to be able to get to, and he hasn't had a ton of time. I mean, we haven't really seen a sack, but with a slick ball and aggressive defenders like Maurer and Blanthorne, that's not going to be easy.
Or you could just line up and snap it before Maple Mountain's ready as they're still huddled up.
And the refs will hold it from that. I remember the first time my coach did that in Little League, and afterwards I felt a little dirty, and we scored on an end around. And Chappell buys some free yards.
Either the guard jumped or the two defense ends did.
The ends definitely did, but it looked like there might have been some movement on the front yard. That's where Maple Mountain's pointing, and the refs will meet. And here comes the call. And it will be a false start on the offense. So you try and buy yourself a few yards, and somebody in the huddle wasn't listening or got a little bit too excited, and now it's 3rd and a long way.
I think if you're Spanish Fork, you're going to have all of next week to regroup. You played three of the most difficult Region 8 teams. So 0-3 is not the way they wanted to start, but it's not shocking by any stretch of the imagination.
Chapel with time, looking for Higginson. This one's going to be picked off and crossing all the way across the field. There goes a flag, likely a holding comp, sprinting down that sideline, eventually taken out by Saili. But Maple Mountain, and there's just a high probability when you know they've got to go deep, intercepts that one. We'll see what that flag is in just a moment.
Yeah, Peyton Pond high points that ball, comes down with the interception, takes plenty of time off the clock, and now Maple Mountain can get in the victory formation and drive to the other side of town with a victory.
Nice way to go out to win a crosstown rivalry for your first victory in quite a while, and they do it in impressive fashion. What started out as a close game, they were able to just pull away and make play after play, including some key turnovers to keep Spanish Fork at bay. It was a holding call on the return, so starting at the 43-yard line, Maple Mountain, like you said, will line up in victory formation. 1:07 to go, so it should take 2 kneel downs from Denison.
And they do line up in the victory formation, and not the way Maple Mountain envisioned starting this season either. Their first win of the season, and they have struggled mightily at times.
Wait a few seconds to snap this one. All these young men excited, I'm sure, to get warm, get fed.
I'm in the same boat.
Me too. And Spanish Fork not going out silently, and they just attack the Maple Mountain line despite things being over. Not that it matters. Looks like clock running down. Teams ready to get on this field. Maple Mountain preparing to celebrate. Spanish Fork wanting to shake hands and get out of here. They want to regroup and try and make a run through the end of region play, but after a couple of difficult endings with Salem Hills and Springville, they get handily, compared to those games, beaten by the winless Maple Mountain Golden Eagles, who come together, make some big plays, and they take this crosstown rivalry game. Your final score 24-9. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back to close things up for you here on Spanish Fork 17.
Need a new car or truck? The Car Guys has the best selection of used vehicles at the best prices in Spanish Fork. The Car Guys know their automobiles to get you the best car for your needs and your budget. The Car Guys at 872 North Main in Spanish Fork. MVP Sports is the #1 source for sporting goods in Spanish Fork. Football, soccer, all the fall sports, we've got you covered. Check out our new custom t-shirt builder. Design at home and we'll build it for you. MVP Sports, 72 North Main in Spanish Fork.
Welcome back to Spanish Fork High School here in Spanish Fork, Utah. 2 Spanish Fork teams. How many times can I say Spanish Fork in one sentence? Face off tonight, and we saw quite a competitive game, but in the end, the Maple Mountain Golden Eagles able to pull away. Spanish Fork, the home team, with another heartbreaking loss, this time to their rival after 2 close ones. Excellent play, though, by their running back, Lomax, who was able to find a long touchdown and was a workhouse, put the offense on his back all night. Unfortunately, turnovers doomed them, but Maple Mountain made some plays of their own, some big touchdowns. They came up huge and had a running game to speak of themselves. So Chris Hurst, who is our MVP Sports MVP of the game.
Jared Blackthorne, who had 2 touchdown runs, one from 6 yards, one from 3 yards, played great on defense, but him and his ability to run downhill in this ball game is the real difference and the real reason why Maple Mountain wins this thing 24-9 tonight.
You said 9. It sounded like nothing, but 9. 9 points on the board tonight. But Spanish Fork, like I said, time to regroup, still opportunity. But for Maple Mountain, now in position, according to your prediction, nail a playoff spot, be successful through the rest of region play. They've already played a couple of the toughest teams, and rivalry games are always tough games, but we've seen some fantastic but stormy, as it's going to clear up now that the game's over because that's the way the world works, but some stormy weather, fantastic Friday night lights, and football going on here in Spanish Fork. And these guys, while they're crosstown rivals, also grew up together, play a lot of other sports together and know each other well, so friendly all in the end, but they battled fiercely. It was a fun game to watch. Thanks for tuning in. However you tune in, remember we're on sfcn.org and youtube.com. One more round of thanks for our sponsors, the Car Guys, Dickerson Automotive, State Farm, Lance Wilson, the Mikhail Christiansen and Wise, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, and 2 Jacks Pizza. Chris, any final thoughts?
Yeah, just a couple of things here to recap where teams are in the playoff picture. Wasatch ended up losing to Salem Hills 10-3 tonight, so Salem Hills and Springville are tied atop at 3-0, and Wasatch Maple Mountain are tied for that third spot. And Uinta is 1-2, and Spanish Fork and Payson are both winless. So huge victory tonight for Maple Mountain to get back into the playoff picture. And if you're Spanish Fork, you have to regroup. You got the week off to do it, have some soul searching, and they come back with a couple of the easier teams in region, and they're still not out of it.
Absolutely. Anything can happen in Region A. We love how competitive it is here. Thanks once again for tuning in. Your final score is 24-9. Maple Mountain wins it. They have bragging rights for the year to come in this city. From Chris Hurst, I'm Mitchell Marshall. We have a fantastic crew. Want to thank them as well. Have a good night from Spanish Fork 17.